Ashley. You are watching the BOP, the BLERD official podcast. Oh my gosh, I am so excited you are here. I've got the host with the most, Hilton George. How are you, my friend? How is it going?
I'm feeling lonely and left out. There's two people that went to the West Coast, and I went all the way to the Spirit Airlines kiosk, and they said that they didn't know nothing about my ticket. And then I went over the Song Airlines. The Song said, well, we don't even fly no more. And then Canadian Air, they was like, not without a passport. Yeah, you got charges. And so I had to.
I know it is. We have got to get together. The three of us, we've got to do another con together. It's been too long. Christi was with me. Christi, how are you doing? Have you survived? We literally just flew back yesterday.
I am totally in recovery. So y'all getting this fresh face to the world. Just slap on some lipstick, pinch my cheeks, try to get y'all some life. I know. This hair. I'm tired.
I have hair and makeup.
You look fabulous. I am like, I couldn't quite pull it together. I'm exhausted. I'm like,
that's okay.
Gosh. But I'm here.
Okay. You are here.
And I'm excited.
Oh my gosh. So Hilton has alluded to what we've been up to. I had a Comic-Con. We were at Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle, Washington. And Christi came with me. She has been assisting me at shows, and so I was like, I need Christi. I need her help. And she was such a huge help. Oh my gosh. We were setting up, we were going, we were meeting the fans. It was an amazing show. It was an absolutely amazing show. We actually even got a corporate sponsorship while we were there who gave us some amazing prizes. Let me make sure I hold this bag properly. Wait. Big Pen has donated their exclusive pins they were handing out. Let me tell you, these puppies are amazing. Beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're probably 4-inch pins. They come in these amazing cases. We are going to give at least 2 of these away to 2 listeners who are, on our YouTube channel. So what you have to do is you've got to get on our YouTube channel. You have to subscribe to the BOP, and you've got to leave a comment. And Sailor Moon, I mean, it's amazing. And don't worry, Hilton, I got some for you.
I was going to say, should I go to my mailbox? Should I go? Should I run right now? I'll wait.
Dana is our line producer. You guys are getting pins also. We've got enough for gifts for you, but we also are giving some away. Okay, there we go. I'm trying to put it so you can actually see them. So what you got to do is you've got to, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on one of our other social media networks, you have to go to the YouTube channel. You have to subscribe, and you have to leave a comment. You can say, give me that pin. We're going to choose 2 people, and we will announce them later who wins, but we are giving out prizes courtesy of Big Pen. I want to thank those guys who were at the show.
Yes, they were awesome.
Yeah, they came every day, and just like they brought us, I mean, literally
gifts.
Bag. Yeah, the bag, this whole bag is full. Like, it's full to the top of pins.
Oh. So it's not packed by Lay's or Utz.
No.
And I've even got some. I've got some. So it's not, it's still full.
It's awesome. Still full. Like, they literally, I told them, I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to give some of these away. Because they gave them to me as like, we're so happy you're here. We're a huge fan of yours. And I said, well, we have a podcast and I would love to feature you guys. And they were like, oh, and 2 seconds later, we get a bag full of them to give away as prizes. So it's amazing. Yes. So Big Pen, thank you so much. Okay, but let me tell you about Seattle.
Let's talk Seattle.
There's always, like, I just have to say this, the devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. There is always something that happens that tries to ruin the weekend. Like, let me tell you, we had a fabulous weekend. Like, so much fun.
From Wednesday, it was almost like a week. I mean, it was 6 days we were together. So
well, this was Christi's first 4-day show. And you know how that goes, Hilton. You fly in on Wednesday, the show starts on Thursday, and it goes, and then you're so worn out, you fly out on Monday.
Right, exactly.
But day one of the show, from what I understand, is day one of the show was not like a half day. It was a full day, 10 to 7.
Like, it was, it was like like San Diego Comic-Con. It was like New York Comic-Con. Like,
this was Emerald City.
Emerald City, yeah.
Emerald City, yeah. They go hard. Y'all get
they
up.
go hard.
10 o'clock, doors open. It's like Walmart at Black Friday.
Exactly. Next year, Hilton, we got to get you there. We will be there again next year. But the show was amazing. We met so many amazing people. We had such a great time. Walter Jones was with us for 2 days. He was signing. He's the Black Ranger. He was signing with us. And then, we literally had dance party every day. Like, it was just bananas. He had to
and
fly
for those
out.
of you who don't know, he's the Black Ranger and a Black Ranger.
So
I mean, Karen's a Black Ranger, but she's a Yellow Ranger. So people who don't know.
Exactly. He was the first Black Ranger, original Black Ranger on Power Rangers. He was with us 2 days. And then he had to leave and go to another show that he was booked at. And then Sandy Selner, who is one of the people who played Alpha 5. She was with me in season 2. She was with us, and it was so much fun. And so, show's great. We're wrapping up. We're packing up. And we literally, like, the whole weekend, I'm planning, because this week coming up is Power Morphicon, which is our big Power Ranger show. So I'm on my phone in between breaks planning, because, I've got all these exclusives that I'm doing and all this stuff. So I literally text someone and approve like a design that they had sent me. And I'm like, approved. And we were like literally grabbing our bags to walk out and leave the venue. And we stopped to say bye to our neighbor. And like, he's the guy who's barely next to us.
Turned.
Yeah. We turned. Yeah. And we're like, have a safe trip. Take care. Goodbye. Like 30 to 60 seconds tops. I turn back around. My phone has been stolen. In that 60
right
seconds,
off the table.
So wiped off the table that we're yes.
Listen, and it was literally, we could track the minute. It was at 5:05. Like, we were done at 5 o'clock, but we started packing up. We were slowly packing up slowly. And then we put the move on at 4:55, and so within 10 minutes at 5:05. That was literally when somebody just snatched it, was walking and just snatched it right off the table.
Just walked and took it. And the reason I knew it was immediately stolen was because, like I said, I was standing at my table. I said, approved. I'm like standing there typing, approved. I turn and go, oh my gosh, have a safe trip. So nice to meet you. Hug.
30 seconds, maybe.
Clear table. Gone. And we're like, and Chrissy's like, no. It fell in the bag. Like, she's so positive. I'm
taking everything out of the suitcase.
Meanwhile, your phone is halfway across the parking lot.
Yeah,
I'm calling.
All this way to Bangladesh.
And it's crazy because I started calling at 5:09. Like, I'm looking at my timestamps when I just was calling her phone back, and it was going straight. So this person not only snatched it, they immediately powered it down. And it was going straight to voicemail. I was like, that's what's bizarre, is why would it go straight to voicemail? You were just using it. So I knew she hadn't turned it off. So I was like, somebody took
it. It was a pro.
Like, they were watching.
No 14-year-old.
They knew. I thought it was a kid. But you're right. It's probably someone who knew, because they knew to turn it off. That's true.
And they knew the what happens. At the end of a con, people are packing heads down, buried, and trying to figure their crap out. And it's like, you're the real asshole. Like, really. Happy day to everyone but you, the person. Yeah.
But you know what? The wonderful thing was, I remember when we were packing, at one point, I'm like kind of on the floor organizing stuff in the bag, and I had looked up, and like the money pouch was kind of sitting there. And then like this other bag I had that had like my purse and had like some other, like just my chargers. And I was like, I grabbed that stuff, put that on the floor next to the bag, and I kind of put it on the suitcase, and then I put some toys on top of it. So the reality is, they stole a phone, but they didn't steal no money. They didn't steal, and we were able to get that phone like totally turned off within 30 minutes. And but it was just crazy.
Wait. But I'm still sick because they stole some artwork.
Wait,
that had been given to me.
A phone and some artwork.
Hold up, we didn't realize the artwork was gone until we got back to the room. That was also sitting on the table. Now, mind you, this amazing artist is across from us. He'd given Christi, like, she was like, if you need me to watch your booth, because he's there by himself. You know, a lot of those vendors are by themselves. Lovely
Michael Myers. Michael made it back. I got him daily.
Yeah, Michael got back.
He had been in the room with us haunting Karan Ashley.
Yeah.
In her dreams, you know, but the others he had just given me, and
he gave them to her on the last day and was like, here, and she like got to pick stuff for her kids and we didn't notice it until we got back, and she was like, where's my art? And I was like, and I told her, I said, we'll get it replaced.
There was a Black Panther. There was a Chadwick Boseman Black Panther. That
hell no! We got bull job right here. We got to lock it down, lock the building down, call the fire department, 911. I got an emergency. The king is dead.
The funniest thing was that I had to keep reeling myself in because I'm like,
she was way more upset than I was.
I was like, but then I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I know it's your phone and that's way more important, but that's artwork. It's sentimental. I'm sentimental, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can't get that stuff back.
I was just wondering when stuff like that happens, why you like nobody ever sees anything. Like nobody ever catches these folks. Like, how do you have like hundreds and hundreds of people around and no one's got their head slightly turned? I mean, you're Karan Ashley. People, look, like someone would have their eyes on you, but no one would notice somebody gliding by and taking stuff off the table and walking off.
Yeah.
And it's just like so smooth. You just like, I want to catch him. Just it's almost worth having it getting stolen just so I can catch him stealing it, so I can beat him down. And oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
it was so terrible. But you know what? It's like I think they just knew. Like they caught us, they caught everybody in that moment where people are packing. So people are like, we're trying to get the hell out of here. Yeah. We've been here all weekend. Everybody's tired. And it was so crazy. But she was so upset. And I was like, Chris, we will get that artwork replaced. Like we will see that they will gladly give you, when they find out they stole the phone and the artwork, they're going to bury you in prints.
I just feel I'm just so glad that someone else who might have purchased the exact same artwork around that time didn't kind of show up in your field of vision, because then like an innocent person getting tackled. Wakanda forever.
The funny thing I told her, because she talks about me like I'm a collector of things, and it's the most bizarre thing. So like if she messes up an autograph, I'm snatching the photo because I'll keep it.
Like it'll be like I misspelled a name and she wants to keep it. And I'm like, throw that away. Like we don't need a half autograph. It ain't even autograph. It's got a misspelled name on the top.
Don't worry, I have a plan. So she's
gonna make me a collage, I think.
What the crazy thing is, when we were setting up the booth, and they have the signage, I guess, to let you know you're here and who you are and where you are. So her sign, I kept that. It's in the artwork because it had her name and then Power Ranger, and then the number on the booth was 519. So you know who you are. You stole from 519. And that's Malcolm X's birthday. So I'm one of those numbers people.
What did Seeley say? Until you do right by me,
everything you do is gonna crumble.
Yes.
Everything you do gonna crumble.
Oh Lord.
So yeah, they're trash. They're just trash. It's like not even worth it. That was a plot. My thing is, if you were inside that whole convention center, you had the means and the funds and the whatever. You're not hurting for that much to walk by and steal something like that from somebody.
Exactly. People who steal stuff like phones and cars, they're doing it for their own purposes. Because you can't.
Gratification.
This is not 1989 where you can steal a phone and then just get a new card and run it.
And
it's like a car. Like you can't steal a car and then go sell it to your cousin. It's like it's like an Uber. I'm gonna steal it and I'm gonna drive to Krispy Kreme, and then I'm be done with it. And that's all you can do, because people gonna find it. So somebody did it. You're bad person. You're giving Seattle a bad name. On
Sunday at 5:05 p.m. Eastern time, you were walking by. You know who you are.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's got you on notice.
We got you on notice, Mr. or Miss. Whoever it could have been a woman. I can't keep blaming the men. I'm just thinking it's a man. But I'm like, it could have been a woman.
It could have been a whatever.
With like a baby carriage with a fake baby in it. And they be putting stuff in it. They got a whole scheme. Got a whole scheme going.
So they got like a little fake baby Yoda in there, pretending it's a baby.
Back up on top of stuff they stole. But I tell you what though, the
Yes.
ancestors was talking to you because they gave you the presence of mind to get your money off the table.
Yes.
Because if the money bag, if the bag had got took, y'all still be in Seattle.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's like every day. Yeah, well, luckily that was just that would have been the Sunday bag, but still, like I don't want $1 missing, one nickel, one dime. I worked hard. I hug babies. I like autograph. My hand is sore from autographing. You know how I am, Hilton. I don't just meet people. Like I make it an experience. I want to connect.
Welcome them.
Yeah. Every moment is a connection opportunity, and if it's that 1-2 minutes of sunshine, I'm gonna give it all to them, you know. So I just was like, dang it, but yeah, the ancestors were protecting us.
Yes. Now all that aside, right?
Secure the
bag. All that aside, I love Seattle.
Yeah,
I loved it. I loved the weather, of course. I loved the downtown area. I loved the scenic stuff I got to see, because I took the train to the airport. So that was wonderful. And you have to go straight up Martin Luther King Boulevard. So, I mean, it was the people, literally, with the exception of the one a-hole, the people were fantastic. We had such great conversations with people, really nice people. There were no, it was not too many situations where anything was uncomfortable. It was just a great time. And that's my third time out with you. So it's like, I'm addicted. I'm a fan, and I've got so many videos. I got to do so many reels. Like I got to put together.
So this is what's so crazy, Karen. You noticing this? So you were the one doing most of the direct meeting and greeting, right?
Yes.
You're the guest and everything. Christi's voice is sore. So that tells you how on she was.
She was talking. She was a whole Beyonce concert behind me at one point.
Singing, lip syncing, karaoke.
I works, baby. I works for mine. I do not.
You are not a passive Congo.
I am not.
No. We had a whole Michael Jackson breakout session. One of my friends, he heard the song and he came and did his move. Like he shut it down. We were like, oh yeah, we had music playing the whole time. Yeah. We were like you, Hilton. You know how you got to have the music going? So it was a party nonstop. The whole time.
From start to finish. Like, and when the music paused, the other vendors would come. Our neighbors would be like, what's up? Where y'all at? Y'all are keeping us alive. And it's like, okay, my bad. I had to take a call. Like, sorry.
Turn it up, right. We had to turn it back up.
Let me refresh my Spotify. Give me a second. Please.
Oh man, it was fantastic. We had so much fun. And one thing I will say, if you ever get a chance to go to Seattle, go to Emerald City. It's a beautiful show. It was just fun. Like, it's just one of those cons that was very fun. They had some amazing vendors, like people who like you can't find this stuff anywhere but at their booth or at that con, so that was another thing that I really, really loved.
Yes.
But you guys know there has been so much stuff happening in this world, and I was like, okay, we got to talk about it. We always keep it fun, we always keep it light, but I feel like it is of utmost importance for us to talk about hot topics that deal with the political climate and deal with what is going on in the world. We have to stay informed. We have to stay, we gotta, like, if you aren't registered to vote, I don't know what I have to do. What do I have to give you a fig pen? Do I have to give you this to get you?
Stand out in the polls with the fig pen. You voted. You get that? You get that, Mr. Fig Pen? You make a I voted pen for this November.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, so be a real hero and vote. So this is the thing. You guys saw probably more than a week ago, the FBI raided former president, that man that was in the White House, the orange one. I don't even like to call him a former president. I just feel like we were in the blip. Like it was.
That's the blip.
Yeah. But you know what? It has put a spotlight on how dangerous of a world we're living in, because there is an entire group of people who are now, threatening the FBI, who are anyone who talks against him, who are threatening them. You know, and this is the thing, that this man broke the law. There is a very clear law that former presidents, former, you know, if you work for the government, the White House, if you have sensitive documents, you cannot take those home. And we knew from the beginning that he did not like rules. He thought he could do anything he wanted to do. And of course, he took home 11 plus boxes of very classified information, potentially things to deal with, you know, our armed forces, our military, our nuclear stuff. Like, it's all bad when it's that highly classified. Like, only 10 people know what's in that file in this world, you know? So it's like, and he has it in his house, chilling in a, like, just in a side room. I don't know. I don't know. Hilton, you are in DC. You are in the area. What was you are ground zero for us. What was it like when all of that news broke, like over a week ago? What was the feel? What was going on in that city?
You know, this is probably the most understandable scandal of any consequence that this president has faced, right? Because there's a crime involved, right? And that's what they're investigating. You know, short of the Stormy Daniels thing, which everybody understood, but, you know, was there a crime and did he pay and who's going to take it to the mat? You know, this is national security. There are very specific laws and rules about where you can and cannot take classified, secret, top secret documents out of secret and secure places, right? And everybody in government knows this. Everybody. Absolutely. The janitor who mops the toilets on the East Wing knows that. And here we are talking about documents, and for him to take them to Mar-a-Lago, and they're sitting in the basement of his mansion, you know, that there's no security, there's nothing really stopping anybody from getting access to it. It's not a secure facility. So this is very cut and dry. And the question is going to come down to, you know, what will the federal prosecutor do? Will they indict? You know, they're bringing people in. You know, you're starting to see, they didn't already said, they have confirmed that Rudy Giuliani is going to get indicted, right? Yeah. So they're on the cusp of something. And I think that Trump knows that his number is probably going up as far as this is concerned. And it is dangerous because there is a quiet minority of people, majority of Republicans, who think that this is okay because he's Trump. And he has turned the Republican Party into a cult. And it is a cult around Trump. What we need to think about is what just happened with some of the midterm primaries.
Yeah,
you know,
Miss Cheney.
80% of the Trump-backed candidates won their primary.
80%.
Scary. Right. So when people talk about, oh, you know, he doesn't represent the majority of Republicans. Oh,
he doesn't, but that minority is loud enough to win.
I'm like, yeah, but you know, how many pit bulls can you have in your house before you know it's a problem, right?
Right.
So, you know, you're seeing somebody who's got that kind of influence over people who are, I call them reality adjacent. They're not really in phase with the world that's actually around them. And where that phase is different for everyone. But you see people talk to them and do interviews, and you watch these people who don't accept objective facts. And when they say stuff like, you know, defund the FBI, or they make threatening, you know, language around the FBI because they just so happen to be the ones fulfilling the search warrant, you know, you're putting, you know, men and women in uniform in harm's way.
Danger.
And the crazy thing is that the Republicans, you know, are supposed to be the ones who are all about law enforcement, right?
Like
and this double standard, don't do
Big
the crime, don't
standard.
do the time. You know, you shouldn't worry about, you know, stop and frisk if you don't have nothing. You know, that's what they've been telling us, right? And then when it's their guy, it's like, oh, it's the Gestapo, and oh, they didn't do this.
The Gestapo.
Gazpacho. The Gazpacho. Right? That's what they are, right?
Yeah.
So exactly. You know, the people here in the DC area, you know, we so over Trump. You know, it's not even really a debate anymore. I mean, this is mostly a blue area, and the people who aren't blue, who might be Trump supporters, are really quiet about it because they know they're surrounded. Right. But when you start going out to these more rural red state areas, and you find out what people are talking about, That's where the danger is.
It's so dangerous.
Because these are individual elections happening all across the country in states and districts that people are already talking about election fraud. And, if they storm the Capitol, over the presidential election, this kind of thing is going to happen again this November.
That was a precursor.
Right. It was practice run.
Precursor.
It was just, it's the way they're going to do business now. If I don't win, the election was stolen, and then y'all guys can go kick the doors in and do what you want to do.
Well, we're
looking for some crazy stuff to happen beyond this, for real.
I mean, well, that's exactly what it did. Like, we all know Trump is the biggest distractor, the biggest liar that we've ever met. So immediately, we would have never known about this warrant that was, the seizure of, getting the documents out of there. We would have never known about it probably for weeks. But the minute it happened, what does he do? He does what he does best. He puts it out. I've been raided, and I'm not there, and they're taking my stuff, and they're going through my purse.
They went in my bank. What is it? They went in my safe.
Yes. And just made it like that victim. Like he played the victim like he always does. And what really frightens me, and you touched on this, was that, it almost is like, Trump is just kind of, to me, like the puppet, and he's the mouthpiece. But what it really represents is the white supremacist movement that is pushing forward like a steam engine. And they are not afraid, like these certain
standing
Republicans,
back.
They are not afraid to, these Republican senators, politicians, judges, whoever they are, they're not afraid to put their careers on the line. You see people like Rudy Giuliani, who is probably going to go to prison. They are not afraid to go to prison for him. They feel like this is more, the cause is bigger, which is white supremacy. They are not afraid to go into the FBI with a nail gun and a gun and an AR-15 and die on the spot. They're not afraid to die for this cause, which is white supremacy, and that terrifies me. Christi, what are your thoughts? I see your wheels turning. We talked about it over the weekend, and it's just like we get angry, but I'm like, what do we have to do now instead of getting angry in order to get people to be motivated to get to the polls, motivated to vote, motivated, because that's our only line of defense. Mm-hmm. But Christi, what do you feel? I know this is this is something that the scarf is about to fly off her head, because that's how mad she is about it all.
Well, shit, we leave. I don't know. I mean, it's hard at this point, to really get people to, first of all, do the work, do the research, be informed, and go and read and understand trends and, history and how we've done things over the several courses of times. It's like there's no secret formula. It's just a matter of, I think, if we are, death to apathy, like that's number one, because we're never going to fix anything. And I have to say this though. Yeah, I feel like I need to plan an exit route. Everybody, we have these conversations.
Our neighbor next to us, the one that we stopped to hug when we got robbed.
This incredible artist. He does work on wood.
Out of LA.
On wood. He's phenomenal. Yeah. But he was my dystopian brother. Like, we understood, we just had these incredible conversations about, what the world is looking like right now and how we will look maybe in 50 years and all of that. But I don't know. I feel like we do need to find somewhere to go. And he said he's moving to Thailand at the end of this year. So
he's just done,
and that plays a part in it. Where
living in a country that doesn't accept him.
This country where it's going plays a large role in that decision. So I don't know. On one hand, of course, I want people to get up and get out, because we do know it makes a difference. Let's not negate the importance and the actual results, an actual tangible result of when we do get up. I saw somebody had a shirt on over the weekend that said, it was probably on a TV show. Yeah, one of my Atlanta house shows I watch. Somebody had a shirt on that says Atlanta saved everybody, and it's like, we know that voting works clearly. So let's not play that stupid game anymore. Because again, you just win a stupid prize. Hello, 2016. So I also want to say, I just think it's hard. I feel like we're between a rock and a hard place always, because, or it's a double-edged sword, because when you watch the headlines, even just today, we live in such a strange place where a white woman governor, Gretchen Whitmer, and the reason why I'm pointing those two things out about Gretchen Whitmer, two men are now found guilty of conspiring. There was no act, but they were conspiring to kidnap her, which rightfully so.
Which was in Michigan, correct?
In Michigan. But yet in Atlanta, the officers that killed Rayshard Brooks, because he was sleeping in his car, and they woke him and whatever, and that whole Wendy's thing, and they set Wendy's on fire, child. It was a mess. They won't be found. The DA decided, nope, no charges. Killed a man. So it's like we live in this crazy space that it's so hard to really tell somebody to get behind and go and make the changes in the polls, but those things that affect us on a day-to-day basis, like a lot of us don't see the bigger picture. Like people say, yes, you can be president. I don't want to ever be president. Like nobody understands that role, and it is wearing way too many hats. It's doing way too many things at one time, but also not being in full control, honestly, because now we have a Congress. Of course, there's always Congress, and people don't even understand that part of it. But on a local basis, it's very difficult when all of our localities are still connected because we live under the same one big rules. We just see the craziest things. They're so polarized when you would think one thing would definitely warrant punishment, but because that was a Black man versus a white woman, there was a conspiracy versus an actual act of murder. It's just insane. And yet the heavier, it doesn't make sense. And it's hard for me to tell somebody, but I still say it. I still say go vote. I still say get the vote out. I'm for that. But I understand the frustration, and I don't have an answer. I just don't know.
We can't get this next generation activated with the politics that we see every day, because local politics, obviously, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Who's on your school board will tell you, like they just talked about pulling back free lunches for all schools in the country.
And kids starving. We know
free lunch and breakfast is about to leave, and I think it's something that should stay. It's just, these are the kinds of things that you vote for that have an immediate result that happens in your area. But you have to get young people, and when I say young people, I'm like people under 28. Get those people activated, get them interest, get them connected. Because if all they think politics is Trump versus Biden, then they're never going to go out and vote, because that's at 30,000 feet. That's a cloud formation moving across the sky. They don't know how to connect it. But meanwhile, your local school board is dumbing down education and redefining slavery and taking books off the shelves, and we're not even considering, who are these? And I'm being serious. I've seen some of these town halls. I've seen some of these local school board. These are yahoos. These are not like lawyers and lifetime politicians. No. This is Nancy from down the street. Irene, used to work and she ran. She got 200 votes more than the next person, and now she's sitting there, and all of a sudden, these books that are actually talking about the subjects that kids need to know about are gone. And then they're talking about things like the bathroom bills, and like all of this stuff, and this pettiness is what turns the millennials and the Gen Xers off, and then they don't turn up. Now, what I do think is going to be a positive, it's a negative, but it's ultimately a positive, is that the Supreme Court, took away, turned over Roe v. Wade. And that was a reality check for the country that did not believe that would ever happen. So people weren't voting on that basis. Even Republicans, especially Republican women, have a very large minority. It's not a majority, but there's a large minority of Republican women that believe the right to your healthcare choices. And they never thought that would go away. So people were not looking for that. And then all of a sudden, now in 48 states, it's all but prohibited for you to get an abortion. Now people are like, oh, snap. So I think that's going to do some turnout for this midterm election, which I think is going to have positive effects for the Democratic Party. But at the same time, we're still facing this Trump headwind and these yahoos that just come out of the woodwork and are just screaming into the microphone. I'm sick of seeing, I wish we could bring a picture up. I'm sick of seeing that mail order black man that be behind Trump in the backyard with the
my God.
You know that brother with the glasses? That dude is like, I don't, wherever some Trump person is, wherever you, who that dude is, and how they get
and you
that
know
brother,
he's getting paid.
You know that brother's getting paid.
You know, and you are selling your soul.
I'm sitting there looking at this brother like what prison bus did they yank him off of?
Right.
Throw this shirt on him, because it's like, you can't, how you gonna have the same black man behind Trump
in every city,
and every person in all these cities directly behind the camera with blacks for Trump. And I'm sitting there like, y'all don't see this? Like,
well, you know what? They do. I feel like they do that on purpose because it's almost a joke. It's a joke to them. We're gonna put the same black man, and it's a joke. Like, I just feel like they do it on purpose because they know. And people with even that much intellect are like, what the hell is this? Like
he don't even change his hat or his glasses, and he got the same
Nobody like
outfit.
Trump that much.
I'm telling y'all, go on YouTube, look at all of Trump's rallies, and whenever they shoot square on him, there's a brother off to the right or the left with a Blacks for Trump white T-shirt on. It's the same white T-shirt. He got on some chips, blue blocker, sunglasses, and he got a process. You got like this long.
You already know. You already know when you got the 1980s like process. You got the Ice Cube from 1980. We already know who you are, Mister. We already know you ain't one of us. You ain't invited to the barbecue.
Like, is there a glitch in the Matrix?
Am
I having a stroke?
Yeah.
Like,
what? It might be a program, and they make us think he's there. He ain't even there.
Y'all, it's real. It's real, and it's another one of those pieces of the story that we all
like
need
I'm in Hunger Games.
We gotta recognize that they're out there. It's not a lot of them. I mean, it's a handful. It's a bad, ugly, raggedy teaspoon of them, but they're out there, and it's just disgusting how they think that the rest of us, again, because one, we're not a monolith, and two, we are we're too varied, but the majority of us still understand. Now, we ain't gonna do that though. And then we know, just like you said, the prison bus, because we know our folk. We know you didn't come to the creme de la creme. You didn't
you didn't go to Clark Atlanta and pull up in the
you sure didn't. But it's in everything. I pointed it out over the weekend.
Yeah, she was MSNBC. Like, and she got so mad. I'm like,
I gotta talk to our people on TV1 or BET. Somebody got to dispatch a news crew to find out who this brother is. I bet you he racking up so many Spirit Airlines points doing all of these rallies.
He got a freaking flyer VIP on Spirit. Because you know they ain't flying him. They ain't flying him top tier airline.
No, absolutely not. That brother's on the payroll.
He probably got like a prosthetic mask. He's probably like not even that brother. Like they probably, because he like I can't imagine he ain't been beat up yet. Like we just like randomly slapped. Like you know, somebody mama walked by like, boy, what you doing?
If he going back and forth to Trump rallies, we ain't there.
Ain't nobody. That's true. We ain't nowhere around.
I'm not going to no Trump rally to find one brother to slap.
No, I ain't going to.
Look, you done slapped yourself.
They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. It's always one. I see them here. I see them in the downtown area here, and there's always one. There's always one. But I also know they always have those same kind of T-shirts on. It's got that saying or it's got that thing that you recognize, and I'd be like, they are organizing right in your face.
But they're not doing it for our benefit.
No, it's just for their
white constituents to say, "Oh, we're not racist because look, there's
we got one black friend.
They're not selling it on us.
Yeah,
we're not buying it.
Right.
But Karen up the Karen
with an E.
Gladys up the street.
Karen with an E. That bitch.
Oh, look, there's a black guy in the shot. That can't be racist.
Exactly. Yeah, we can be. He's here. He's welcome. He's family. But you know what? Enough of them. Enough of that, guys. If you don't know, we've said it a million times. Your local elections are the biggest elections that impact your life.
I'll
Show
catch
up
you
for that.
Immediately.
Show up for who is going to be your, superintendent, the superintendent of the school. Show up who's the judges. Show up for all these people.
city
That's when you,
council.
yes, those are the
People got
people that
power.
impact your life. Those are the ones that are going to do something, make a decision that is just going to enrage you. And you're going to be like, why didn't I go to that? It would have taken me 10 minutes because those elections aren't heavily, like you can get in and out in 10 minutes. Trust me.
Midterms are easier.
Yeah,
Yes.
midterms are easy. So off of that, I want to just send a shout out to the GOAT, the Queen. We're going on to some bigger and better news. Some like let's give flowers while we can. Serena Williams announced that she is retiring. This woman is so amazing, so accomplished, so just I met her once, guys. I met her once, and I'm always so proud of this because I was like, I've got friends who are like, they hooked up on insert, like we can go to things, and I don't ever go to things. I'm never invited to those things, but they're invited to them, and I go with them every now and then. So I went, and this was back when her and Common were dating. Like that's back then, right? She's been married, has a child. Like yeah, it's back then. And we were at a basketball game, and she was like so nice, so sweet, like looked everybody in the eye, was like, hi, what's your name? Oh, nice to meet you. Like super, super sweet. And then I remember she came and zoomed into me and she was like, oh my God, I love your earrings. Where did you get them? Are they blah, 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 blah. She like named some designer. I'm like, girl, I don't buy that kind of jewelry. I was like, right. This is probably $5. Like, I don't spend my money there. And she laughed. She was like, I hear you. I hear you. She's like, I just started buying that kind of jewelry. So no, ain't nothing, girl. I know what you're talking about. But super sweet. She has retired. She's the most accomplished tennis player out of all tennis players. Her daddy in that King Richard movie, if that moment where he said, you're gonna be the greatest of all time, if that was a real actual moment, he knew what he was training. He knew the queens he was raising. He saw the vision. This woman, I felt so like, wow, like I just felt so great for her because she's done it all. And I feel like this is when you go out. You go out
exactly.
You go out when you're still amazing on top. How did you guys feel about that, Hilton, when the news broke that she was gonna retire and she has one more tournament she will do, and that'll be that?
This is the mark of the modern athlete because you look at what athletes were doing in the 60s and the 70s, they were their game. And that was it. Like you were as good as your game and you weren't selling tennis shoes and you weren't a brand and you weren't a name off the court or off the field. She is a quintessential brand. People will be saying Serena as a verb and a descriptive adjective to tell people they're great. You will be a Serena in this exactly. She is at that level. And I'm so happy because on one hand, we'll miss her in the sport. I mean, I'm sure she'll play exhibition. She's not going to stop playing tennis, but she's not going to compete. But the fact that she's going out ostensibly on top, the fact that she's going out while she still has her health and she has the ability to focus her energy on all kinds of bigger and better things than
all her dreams, whatever other dreams,
business, nonprofit, social
clothing
issues.
line.
She is right at that part. And I think that there's not enough athletes that invest in their brand. And I know Christi's got a mile of knowledge on this beyond mine, that don't invest in building their brand off the court or off the field so that when it is time for them to retire, not only do they have the money and they don't have to play in order to eat, but they also have the ability to make decisions and be important to the game. Like she's going to be commentating. She is going to be around. She's not going anywhere.
She's still the queen of tennis.
She is the queen of tennis. And I think everyone is going to recognize her as such from here on out. Her legacy is solid. And this is when you want to go out. You don't want to wait until you're too old to play and lose horribly, or suffer some terrible injury that snatches you out the
Right.
game.
Yeah.
This is how you want to do it when you are at this part of your career, and you can actually make some really cogent decisions about your next step and be powerful, and go out on with all your flowers under your toes. You know, she's going to be doing it
Amen.
that way, and I'm glad to see it.
Yeah.
Chrissy, how did
Yeah.
you feel? How did you feel?
Listen, I understood it. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like, I mean, I immediately applauded her, you know, as a mom, and how I thought about so many of her moments that people really tried her, and they
Oh,
tried, and she
Grace.
just incredibly represented, for so many, you know, and I'll say women, and women who have to choose and all of that, and just have conversations that you typically may not do with, you know, another, you know, with another species. But we get these conversations that, of course, pour into, well, why this and why that, and why did you wear, and how did you comb your hair, and
Oh, God.
what about being a mom, and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh my God. But she always fired back, you know,
Yes.
not only for herself, but for many, many, many others, countless others just like her,
Yeah.
whether we play tennis or not. Because I
Right.
played tennis one time in my life, and I couldn't walk for 2 weeks. And that was as
It's
a
a very hard
teenager.
sport.
I was
Yeah.
young. I was a teenager
Yeah.
then, and I was like, okay, this is not my sport. But you know, she just represents so much. So I was proud for her. I was excited. I was like thankful, that she has always held herself to a standard,
Mm-hmm.
that represented not only strength, because that's the thing, we always feel like we got to be so strong, but I feel like even her strengths were in her, vulnerabilities, and saying, you know,
Yes.
mentally,
Mhm.
I can't do this mentally. I don't feel good. I don't feel well, and I need to take care of my mind and my feelings. So
Yeah.
I thought that was incredibly brave of her, and it shouldn't have to be that way, but that's what it
I
is.
know. I
And
know.
so, you know, we get, like you said, flowers for days. She's got them. She
Oh,
can
she
have
gets
all the flowers. She
all the
deserves it.
bouquet. She gets
And I mean,
everything.
she's so decorated. 23 grand slams. You know, I mean, that's just, even Billie Jean King has had to
No
come. I mean,
one.
just like she is the GOAT. There is a GOAT,
Yeah.
and she's the GOAT.
Yeah.
She's the
You know
GOAT.
what? And what I always loved about her and I loved about Venus is that they were
Mm,
always Black women. They
blackity
came
black.
in with their hairstyles and like they had like it was like we
Beads
saw
and
ourselves in them. Like I was
Braids
like,
and beads.
I had that hairstyle when I was like 8, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And she would wear what she wanted to wear on
Yes.
the court. And I mean, she got so much flack for her wardrobes and it was like, what does it matter what this woman is wearing? Like, she
Watch
is
me win.
killing it. And they wanted to always distract us from
Yep.
her game. And what was so beautiful about her journey is they never could because she'd get all this flack about her outfit and she'd kill them. Like, she would win the tournament and it would be like, what? Like,
Yep.
what? Your noise is not going to distract me from what it is I have to do. It is not, your tactics aren't going to distract me. And one thing I loved about that, King Richard movie was that they showed how from the very beginning, when they first were doing tournaments, when Venus was out there and the one girl pretended she needed to go to the bathroom and stayed gone for 20 minutes so that her body got cold, it just showed they would go to
The
great lengths,
links.
the
Yes.
links of deception, the links of corruption, the links of whatever it was they needed to do in order to beat them because they were like a rat in the corner. They knew they were caught. They knew they could not do anything unless they cheated. They knew
Yep.
they could not do anything unless they, did something crazy to distract the whole situation. But what I love about both Venus and Serena is that, like you said, they always stay focused. Their dad taught them how to stay, graceful, taught them how to stay humble, taught them how to just win gracefully. And it was nothing you could ever say about them because
Mm-mm.
they were they're almost like the picture perfect athlete. Even when she got pissed and would be yelling on the sideline at some crazy call
Yep.
that was obviously like not even the call that should have been made.
I was
She
like,
still
yes.
was,
I remember
like,
that moment.
yeah,
I remember that.
like we would be right there with her, like, how y'all gonna do Serena like this? Y'all just trying to steal this game from her. Oh, but
there's a whole generation of people who have come up since that era who will not understand how white the sport of tennis was before them.
Preach.
I mean, it still is.
Preach.
But I mean, when I say it was Arthur Ashe and then the Williams sisters, there wasn't like a whole bunch of brothers popped and sisters popped. No, it was it. Like we not highlight. This is not a highlight reel. This is it. Like
there's one black woman. We're forgetting her name right now. Oh my God.
Yeah,
but again, it's just one man, one woman, and then it was.
But the fact that we can't remember her name, that's how white it was. It was just so
white.
Minimal.
And for them to come in at the age that they did, I mean, they came in like right at the age of
juniors,
eligibility, and
18.
as black girls, right? And they were girls. I mean, if anyone remembers the first time watching them play, they looked like 12-year-olds, even when they were 18. They just
we look way younger than what we really are.
Right. And I was just like, and so we just felt like oh my God, the babies are playing, and what they were able to go through and what they were able to leave in their wake that drew in so much more diversity and women and people who otherwise would not have thought about playing the sport is just their impact has just been so big. And I don't think, again, the fact that there's a whole generation that thinks that tennis was always like this and won't remember the 80s and the 90s when it was just one or two of us is their contribution to the sport.
If you Google black tennis players, literally 4 names come up. Althea Gibson, that's who we were forgetting.
Yes. Althea, yes.
Sorry, Althea.
Arthur Ashe. Serena and Venus Williams. That's it. This the 4 names. Those are the first 4. And then it says show 13 more. Tennis, the whole sport.
Yeah. See.
I mean,
exactly.
Incredible. Yeah. One of my favorite moments is when, of course, coming up under the Williams sisters, then you have Naomi Osaka, who I just love. And when they had their moment, like, when I tell y'all, that was like, let's shut the internet down. Let's just shut all of it down, because that is a moment that, again, is priceless and it is so powerful. And I'm just glad that, again, you have people like the Williams sisters. Of course, those before them, the 2 before them, but there was a massive gap. So it's not like the Williams sisters got to be brought up, or embraced in that sport by Arthur Ashe or Althea Gibson, because they were decades before. Yeah. But Naomi Osaka, these newcomers, they get to be embraced and taught and led and influenced directly by the Williams sisters, and that is just incredible. That's incredible.
That is so incredible. Yeah, we had another person announce their retirement, and I have to give this man his flowers. Ooh. Dr. Fauci said he is retiring
after 50 years.
After 50 years, he has helped us, guys, through the AIDS pandemic. He helped us through SARS. He became famous, obviously, with COVID because of the craziness that was like attacking him and surrounding him. 50 years of working. He said in December, his departure from the government service, like, man, that is a career right there.
Yeah.
Dr. Fauci.
Yeah. You don't have that many people who are in government in a capacity like that stay as long as they have and are relevant and as active and as passionate. This town eats people alive. Like, people come in and they get out. Like, it is corrosive to its core, more so now than ever before in history. And for him to be in the position that he's in, having gone across multiple administrations and being ostensibly the face of the science behind disease and infection prevention in this country, is great. The problem I have is that his legacy is going to be something that the Republicans spend a lot of time, energy, and money trying to denigrate for little or no reason other than pettiness. For someone who's been a public servant and has done nothing but try to help people throughout his career. And so I hope that they fail. I hope it backfires.
Right.
And I hope that this man goes and does some great stuff, maybe goes into education, maybe, you know, bring the next generation of research scientists. And I've known people that have worked under him. I know people who've worked with him, and they all hold him in the highest regard. And, you know, so we're, you know, we were lucky to have him when we did.
Yeah. I know. When we have the biggest pandemic that hit this world, we had someone who actually stood up, who would not, like that's the reason they're attacking him, because he would not go along with that crazy man and whatever agenda he was trying to push, which was basically try to kill people, because he was trying to miseducate you so that you would just be vulnerable to this terrible disease.
You try to get people to inject bleach. Come on now.
You know, like what?
But he wasn't.
Come on now.
But he was getting all the best stuff.
Oh yeah. He got the vax.
He was the first vaccinated. Yeah.
But it was a hoax.
Multi-vaccinated immediately. He got whatever they had, whatever they gave him when he was like, he tried to run up them stairs and was like looking crazy when he had COVID. I was like,
you ain't
that's crazy.
Fauci, he's gonna be probably one of the most memorable of this, you know, particular decade of from 2020. You know, that's gonna be for the rest of this decade. I hope he just enjoys he don't owe us nothing.
Go fishing, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, go to Disneyland, do whatever it is.
Go to Comic-Con and hang out with
Careful now, Disneyland. DeSantis might get you down there. You
what's the other one? Go to Disney World.
Yeah, go to Cali.
Go to Disneyland is in LA, so come to Disneyland. Don't go to Disney World. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
this man, like that's another one. I don't even want to bring. We brought up too many people that made me mad, but he makes me so mad. Like I honestly, me and my husband were talking at one point about moving to Florida because we just like Florida, and then we were like, oh no, we can't move there as long as this man is anywhere near any kind of. We cannot live in that state. Like he ruined it. Everything.
There's no way. I have no desire to go there.
We can't live under a monster. Oh, that's crazy. I know. We might need to figure. Like, if we all have to leave, if we have to move, where are you going? We found our friend.
Where are you going?
Wakanda. Look, I got my Marvel map. I'm be on the plane. Circle one more time. I know it's
one more time. Go through this mountain. I'm telling you, it's going to disappear.
Brother's going to be crashing planes into the mountains, thinking it's a force field.
Just
keep going.
You got to speed up. That's the only way we get through. Man,
that's always the first answer. It's funny.
I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to Wakanda. I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to Canada. I don't know where I'm going. But
the next best thing, you know, what they largely, you know, or loosely, largely, I don't know. It's kind of a mixture. Based Wakanda off of. I always want to go to Ghana. That's one, and then of course there's Canada, and then of course then there's South America. So it's like at least I got, you know, a top three.
Brazilians, they look like us down there. We go to Brazil real quick.
But you can't not near one of these black people speak Portuguese. Y'all gonna be down there. Y'all gonna be down there with y'all Rosetta Stone Spanish trying to get
gonna figure it out.
I know they got apps for that now. They got apps.
Thank you. There's
a friend of ours who named nameless said that he met a girl down in there in Brazil. It's like he used an app. The whole week,
I'm laughing so hard right now.
Wow. There's any story that starts with I met a woman down in Brazil. I just got to brace myself. I feel like the story going to go left any minute.
I can speak Spanish and Portuguese are like
very similar.
Distant cousins. They're not similar at all. No. Distant cousins, it might be like
I know a couple of words.
Yeah, but Portuguese is totally different.
I don't know.
I figured that out.
Syllable of Portuguese.
Listen, I don't care. I know where the food is. You know this. I need this.
I need Brazilian barbecue.
You're going down to Brazil looking for Fogo de Chao.
Yeah, right. Brazilian barbecue. They're like, throw that home. That ain't
Roadhouse.
Go Texas. I know. It's crazy. Guys, like I said before at the top of the show, we are giving away Fig Pen pins, and they are amazing. They're gorgeous. We've got this one is from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
I got one. Yeah, this is let me see, let me find another one. This is Phoenix from the X-Men. We've got some good ones. Let me grab just two more just so they can see. Oh, we've got, Sailor Moon. Why can't I get it without a glare?
There you go.
There it is. Turn it slightly. Turn slightly.
Yeah, it's
to
like
the
you
left
gotta
or the right.
keep the camera. Yeah.
But y'all gotta subscribe to the YouTube channel. Y'all gotta, and it won't hurt. We won't say how to help, but it won't hurt if you comment on the show. Like you leave your comments and share us and stuff. We see that.
I love the YouTube audience.
We kind of go, well, we not only did they do what they had to do, the minimum, somebody went the extra mile.
Yeah.
They might get a little, they might tilt the scale. They might tilt the scale a little bit, It's like,
And Christi, you pick the first, you're going to pick the first two winners. And then Hilton, you're going to pick the next two winners on our next show. But we're going to give two people, we're going to mail you a fig pin, and it is going to be all yours. So you got to subscribe, you got to leave a comment, and we'll message you and try to find you. And we're super excited to do these giveaways. We love FigPin. They are amazing. But thank you guys. Thank you for talking. Yes, we're done. I know it's always so sad to say bye now. But we will be back. Join us every Tuesday. We can't wait to see you again. This is the BOP, the BLERD official podcast. You guys have a great week. Bye.
Bye.
And don't get your phone stolen.
Tune in every Tuesday for a new episode of the BOP, the BLERD official podcast.